any kind of optimization problem. So we can solve it in a lot of problem. And I told that convex optimization is very broad in sense that it finds application everywhere, whether it is machine learning, whether it is robotics, or whether it is control theory. So these three, if you take in together, everyone may get a very good career in any of these three: machine learning, robotics, or control theory. So all are talking about practical solution of any problem. So if you are very good in convex optimization, then things would be very easy to handle the problem coming from this field. So try to understand each and every concept. In between, if you have any question, you are welcome. You can ask doubt. And today I'm going to share my slide. This one is lecture number 6. I would like to inform one thing that tomorrow it may possible that I might be busy in something else. There is a meeting, a very important kind of meeting. But if I get a time, then I will take online class in online mode. Otherwise, what I will do, I will put tutorial kind of things there. Uh, it will be scheduled between 3 to 3:45. You all have to solve that in the scheduled time, and after solving, you can upload there itself. There would be upload option, and everyone will get a copy of that tutorial uh, paper, and you all have to solve there itself. The question would be very simple kind of question. It is not complicated kind of things. Automatically, whatever we have already covered, it would be there. So you can consider that class would be first tutorial. And for any help, I might be there, but it depends upon whether get I will get time tomorrow or not. So that tomorrow is a very important meeting. That's why I can't commit anything whether I will be there in tomorrow tutorial class or not. So now we are starting today's class. Today I will talk about application of separation theorem. It is very classical and very interesting kind of theorem. And if you really willing to uh, make your career in computational field, so computational, I'm talking together computational. That means it is machine learning, it is control theory, or robotics. All these are coming here. So you need to know separation theorem and the application of separation theorem. You have everywhere these things will come. And in order to find application, you have to go in algorithmic approach. How to apply a concept in algorithmic approach to solve a problem. So that things we will discuss a little bit here. And one, I think you all might have gone through one uh, meaning of one word, that oracle. So if there is a very classical concept which is having a lot of application, then with respect to that concept, we can define a corresponding oracle, like first order oracle, because there are many algorithm, optimization algorithm which is talking about first order algorithm. So there you can get a first order oracle. Similarly, second order oracle, zeroth order oracle, order oracle is very important in case of optimizing hyperparameter. First order in case of differentiable function. Second order if it is very nice function further, then second order. And separation, similar in the similar fashion, if you get a lot of application of separation theorem, then there would be a separation oracle. So those kind of things also we will talk about. So outline of my today's lectures are the following. First, I will introduce various type of separations. Then I will go to discuss about one very important, a specific kind of separating hyperplane that we are calling it supporting hyperplane. It support the given convex set in such a way it behave like a tangent. So if you are having a supporting hyperplane, so with the help of supporting hyperplane, you can define optimality condition of a given optimization problem as well. So like finding a tangent plane, it is similar to tangent plane, you can call it. Then, if time permit, we will go to discuss about polar or dual cone. It is just again one more very important application of separating hyperplane. Then we will talk about in next class. We will talk about theorem of alternatives. So that theorem of alternative, we are calling it separation oracle. It is solving linear program very interestingly. Apart from linear, other problem also it can be solved with the help of separation oracle. So that's why oracle word is coming here. It is very useful kind of things. It is giving a uh, very good structure to solve an optimization problem. Now, if you are coming to various type of separation, so simply we are talking about separation. That means it is a non stick separation in general. We are talking about that means separation. There would be not a complete separation like hyperplane may touch. Uh, like if you are having this kind of separation, so this kind of separation we are calling it a stick separation. There is a clear stick inequality here. Suppose this one is hyperplane supporting separating hyperplane. We got it by using minimize norm minimization and equation of supporting hyperplane. It will come like this one. I had already mentioned that how to get A and B, and due to that, if you observe that this set C, call it C, this set we call it D. Suppose D is coming and direction. So we need to know what is the direction of normal. Suppose direction of normal is along this way. This is the direction of normal of the separating hyperplane. Then what will happen? So this side, right hand side, half a space of with respect to this hyperplane, we will call it A transpose X is less than equal to B. That means it is a lower half plane or lower half space. So here equality will be not here. Equality will be not strict inequality would be there. Strict inequality. If there is a strict inequality for both cases, then such kind of separation we are calling it a strict separation. If you consider less than equal to, then in that case you will get non-strict separation. So this one is one example of a strict separation. So when we will get a strict separation, so condition is that both the given set disjoint set must be closed. First condition must be closed for a strict separation. Close. Second condition is that both set must be closed. Second condition is saying that both set must be convex. Then convexity is giving existence of your that minimizer, or with the help of convexity you are getting this uh, normal to the hyperplane due to convexity. And third condition is that one of the set, one of C or D, one of must be bounded. One of anyone, either it would be C or one of C or D must be bounded, or D must be bounded. So due to these three conditions, you can always guarantee that there would be a strict separation. If you remove the boundedness condition, then only you are considering these two conditions, closeness and convexity of these two sets, then it may not guarantee for strict separation. But if you put boundedness there, you will get a strict separation. So very nice. If there is a strict separation, then very nice. You can in support factor machine, you always observe strict separation kind of thing, provided there is no misclassification. So a separating hyperplane which separate any two disjoint set strictly if there exists a normal direction. I always used to say that normal direction, and a scalar bias be such that element of C are coming in lower half. This is lower half space. And element of all element of D are coming in upper half space. This is the definition of upper half space. So, so you can observe here there is a clear separation between two states. There is no common thing. Even with supporting hyperplane, also separating hyperplane, also there is no common thing. So one example you can observe here. So if you take here set A, this one is closed and bounded as well. as well as convex. So this set is what? Closed, bounded, and convex as well. Convex. If you go to lower set B, what you observe there? Lower set is closed. There is no issue. It contains all of its boundary point. It is closed. Also, it is convex, but it is unbounded. It is not bounded. This lower set B is closed, convex, but not bounded. In this case, one set is bounded, so there is no issue. You will always get a, so H, you are getting a hyperplane H which separate these two set strictly. There is a strict separation. There is no common thing. So you can say that suppose if normal happens to be like this way, normal is along this direction. This is the normal of a hyperplane. So we can say that A transpose X element of A satisfy this property inequality for every element from A. Similarly, if you look below here, then here also we are getting stick inequality that element of B satisfy, they are strictly in the lower half space. Lower half space for every element in B. So there is a stick separation we observe. But suppose if we remove boundedness condition, so here in this was in the stick separation case. If you come to see in second case, what we observe here, set A and B both are unbounded. No one is bounded, but both are closed and convex. There is no issue. But here we don't observe any bounded set. So both are unbounded set. No bounded set we observe. Both are unbounded. So UNPD is short form of unbounded. We can write it. This set B is also unbounded. So due to that unboundedness, we don't observe any stick separability. So what will happen? This hyperplane, it will definitely it is separating these two set. So what is name of this set? If you try to recall it, name of this set is X into Y, if you write in coordinate x1 and y1, then you can call it the definition of a. A can define algebraically like this one. It is containing the element where x1 into x2 is greater than equal to less than, sorry, it is greater than equal to 1. And in here you can observe that negative times. So similarly, you can define this one. So both set happens. What happens? Hyperplane is going to touch both set at infinity. It is touching. So there is no clear stick separation. Here, what is happening? We are having a non-stick separation. So this separation is non-stick separation. Yes, this separation we call it non-stick separation. Why? Because uh, here both set are unbounded. So this separation we call it non-stick separation. But there is a clear separation. There is no issue. But here H become what? H become a supporting hyperplane. I will discuss supporting. What is supporting hyperplane? So this separation is non-stick separation. Second separation, and this one is a stick separation. So what is the difference between these two? It might be clear. A stick separation. Further, we can see that if you are taking C and D happens to be two closed convex set, at least one. This one is talking about theorem. So at least one of them is bounded, and assume that C and D both are disjoint, then definitely it is guaranteed that there exists a normal direction and a scalar bias B such that we observe a stick separation. This is the talk. This is again talking about a stick separation. So this is the scenario of a stick separation. We can observe that this set, this one is a convex set, but it is unbounded. There is no issue, but it is closed and convex. And if you take second set, it is closed, convex, and bounded. It is just like ellipse like kind of things. So due to boundedness of this one, we get a stick separation by this separating hyperplane. But if you take another set, so this set here, both sets C and D are not bounded. So here C you can define it in the similar fashion: x1, x2 greater than equal to 1. In algebraic form, you can define it like this way. So this it is talking about this region. It is equation of hyperbola x1 into y1 equal to 1, and you are taking everything above this. So that's why you can define like this way. So here it is a closed and convex set, and this one is also closed and convex set. What we observe, what is the name of this set? In R2, it is simply we observe that all x1 coordinate are non-negative. That means less than equal to 0. So through this you can define it like this way. That means point in R2 which are having non-negative first coordinate belongs to R2. So this one is algebraic definition, and your plot is already clear from the plot what kind of set it is. So you can define it like this way. At this set, if you want to define in algebraic form, so you can call it x belongs to R2 such that uh, a product of corresponding coordinate is greater than equal to 1. So this is talking. So here we unable to observe any stick separation. If we take a hyperplane like this way, x2 axis, it would be x2 axis. So what we observe, it is touching everywhere set C. So we can't guarantee for a stick separation here. So there is a definitely there is a no stick separation. It is so this is talking about non-stick separation due to lack of boundedness, and first one is talking about a stick separation. So these two example we had taken for a stick separation and non-stick separation. So first for a stick separation, no, we can't relax boundedness. We can't relax boundedness. If we relax boundedness, we are not observing a stick separation. So many times I have taken same example. Now next separation is proper separation. What is meaning of proper separation? If you are taking two sets C1 and C2 and a hyperplane, it will separate C1 and C2 properly. That does not fully contain both C1 and C2. That means the hyperplane which separate C1 and C2 doesn't contains any of these C1 and C2 given set fully. Hyperplane is not containing. So that kind of. So here I have taken three examples. So this you can call it. It is a proper separation. This one is also a proper separation. Why? This is the hyperplane. Sorry, this is the hyperplane which separate set C1, this line segment. It is one line segment, another line segment is this one. So it separates these two C1 and C2, but C1 and C2 are not on this separating hyperplane. So this one is a proper separation. Similarly, if you observe that here this hyperplane H with normal A, it separates C1, this polyhedral or polytop. You can call it polytop. This polytop and this line segment. So it's separate. But here we observe that here line segment C2 as I said is completely on the hyperplane, but C2 is not in hyperplane. So again, if one it is both are not in the same line in the hyperplane, then we can say that this separation is also a proper separation. But if we come to discuss about this separation, what we observe, C1 is the this talking about this hyperplane, and C2 is this hyperplane. Sorry, C2 is C1 is this line segment, and C2 is this line segment, and both the line segment all are on the hyperplane H. So there is no proper separation. So this separation we call it improper separation. Proper separation, improper separation, and these are proper separations. Okay. How can we bring proper separation? So the criteria of being proper separation is that if you consider two sets C and D in such a way, the relative interior of C is having is disjoint with the relative interior of D. What is meaning of relative interior? It is coming in the concept in case of you are in higher dimension, and or you are in R2. Suppose you are in R2, then interior, you know that the point inside a set that we are calling it interior. Point if we are having set point of the set excluding boundary point, we call it interior. Like if you take this disk, don't include point along the circle, only include point inside the circle. So those point would be interior point. But here it is something more than relative interior. What is meaning of relative interior? It is saying that what you do, you find a affine hull of this point. So affine hull of this point would be what? It would be all the complete plane. It would be complete plane affine hull. If you want to find affine hull, it would be complete plane. Affine hull always happens to be how we define affine hull. We are defining like this way. It is linear combination kind of thing. So lambda 1, if you are taking 2 points x1 and x2, so lambda 1 times x1 plus lambda 2 times f2 x2, where lambda 1 and lambda 2 both are taking value from real number. That means linear combination. It is talking about linear combination. So these are finally combined. So lambda 1 and lambda 2 is taking value. So affine combination of single point, if you take, it will give a line. If you take affine combination of 2 point, it will give plane. If you take affine combination of 3 point, it will give a space. Now, similarly, if you take a conic combination of 1 point, it will give a ray. Conic combination of 2 point will give a cone kind of a structure. That, so those are the differences. Those basic things you can recall it like way. So if you, what is relative interior? Relative interior, it is talking about. So what is happening if you are taking a line and a line segment, and this is the line segment. The starting point is x1, and your terminal point is this terminal point is x2. If we are asking what is the interior of this, can you find any interior point of this one? Do you have any interior point for this? This line is not having interior point, but it is having relative interior point. So what is saying relative interior point? So take a ball and intersect with the line passing through this. So this would be relative interior. So this is the relative interior. So it is having relative interior. So that kind of concept is coming here. Here you can observe that. So this is one set K, another set containing single element 0. So if you are having these two kind of sets, always you can define a proper. You can always allow a proper separation. So there is a proper separation. If the relative interior is empty, then there is a proper separation. But if you come to see last case here, if you see here, relative interior is not empty. You can observe there is a common thing here along the line. So this, due to this non-empty nature of relative interior, this we can't define a proper separation. But here we observe, in this case, we observe a proper separation. There is a proper separation. Similarly, separation in subspace you can observe like this way. So, this one is a subspace in R2 to R2. So you can talk it in the similar way. This one is the point. In the similar point and shade separation you can discuss in that. So all these are various type of separation. It is already enough. You can in a single page you can see all the separation. This one is a improper separation. This one is a proper separation, and this one is a strict separation. Sorry, no, this one is a strict separation, and this one is a strong separation. Clear, strong separation. There are four different type of separation happening here. Okay, we are coming to discuss about supporting hyperplane as an application of uh, separating hyperplane. So how first we need to define supporting hyperplane. What does it say? So supporting hyperplane, the definition of supporting hyperplane we are defining. What you do, take any subset of Euclidean space Rn and a point x naught. Remember that this point x naught is coming from boundary of the set. So dou s denote boundary of the set. Then a hyperplane x such that A transpose x equal to. Remember that here we are not writing V. Here we are writing A transpose x naught. X naught is your boundary point. So with respect to that, we are writing bicycle. So this hyperplane, what does it mean? It says that this hyperplane is touching the given set S. It is tangent. That means you can say that this hyperplane is tangent to this set S at point x naught. So this hyperplane will call a supporting hyperplane to supporting hyperplane to S at point x naught. If we observe that it satisfies that every point of S, it is in the lower half space of the corresponding hyperplane. Lower half space. It must be lower half. So A. So here you can say that what kind of direction A? A is the outward normal direction to S. Outward normal direction to S at point x naught. So in picture you can observe that. So you are having one set, this one S. So in this set, this this x bar, it is this point is in boundary. It is in boundary. So what you observe in boundary, you can always draw a hyperplane that will pass through x bar. And if you're willing to write equation of this one, how can you write? What would be equation of this hyperplane? It would be A transpose x equal to A transpose x bar. Just recall your plus 2 way of writing in plus 2 vector equation of line. So how you write the vector equation of a line? You are having a normal direction. A is the normal direction. A is the normal direction, and you are having a normal direction. Then how can you write equation of plane or hyperplane in term of normal direction? So this, if you take any arbitrary point in this hyperplane, suppose that one is x, then what will happen? What would be name of this line segment? Call this point P and this point Q, arbitrary point Q, moving along the hyperplane. So if you are willing to write the equation of this hyperplane, so it is simply what would be, if you take PQ, PQ would be perpendicular to this normal, or normal would be perpendicular to this PQ. So if the two vector happens to be perpendicular to each other, then how you write it? So dot product, corresponding dot product would be 0. That means and dot product we are writing in term of transpose A transpose X. So that A transpose x naught, dot product of A with x minus x naught, it would be 0. And if you solve it, then what kind of things you will get? A transpose x equal to A transpose x naught. So this is the equation of your supporting hyperplane. It support the given set at point x now, x naught or x bar. X bar I have notation I have taken here, so better I would use x bar notation everywhere. X bar notation, remove x naught. Okay. Similarly, if you observe, so what is happening? Uh, So it is talking about how many supporting hyperplane will exist at a point, boundary point. So if your boundary is smooth, so here what for this set, the boundary is smooth everywhere. So that's why everywhere there would be only one supporting hyperplane, provided it exists. If it is convex, always there is a guarantee of existence of supporting hyperplane. But if suppose set is convex and boundary happens to be boundary that curve happens to be non-smooth. So you can observe that boundary is here. What kind of boundary? Here, linear boundary. Suddenly, from linear to it is here curve because quadratic kind of thing it becomes. So there, due to that change in nature of boundary, here we observe kink. At this kink, x bar is the boundary point, and at this kink we observe infinitely many supporting hyperplane. One is this one, another is this one, another is you can draw infinitely. There are infinitely many supporting hyperplane at this point. If your boundary of the given set happens to be non-smooth, that means not differentiable, in that case you will get more than one boundary point. If more than one, infinitely many. If you come to see here in this structure at this point, if set happens to be non-convex, then you observe that a supporting hyperplane may act as a supporting hyperplane more than one point. So this one is this line, this hyperplane. It is a supporting hyperplane for x1 as well as x2. Why it is happening? Because due to non-convex nature of S. And if our suppose our set is convex and a smooth, having a smooth boundary, so in that case at every point we will have a single hyperplane. At every point we will boundary point we will have a single or unique hyperplane. That is the criteria of existing separating hyperplane, supporting hyperplane. So supporting hyperplane is alternative way to define a convex set with a smooth boundary. That definition we are calling it dual definition of a closed a smooth convex set. So one theorem regarding separate supporting hyperplane we will discuss about for any non-empty convex set S and any boundary point x bar, there always exists a supporting hyperplane which will support S at x bar. So this is the theorem. So convexity is always allowing to have a supporting hyperplane at boundary point. So this is the boundary point, x bar is the boundary point. So we can get a supporting hyperplane. So all these are result. Now another way, a set is closed. If a set is closed and has non-empty interior and has a supporting hyperplane, then it will have supporting hyperplane at every point. So for this is a closed set. You can observe. So at every point you can observe supporting hyperplane. Now, very important kind of function is coming, support function. So I would, before defining support function, I would like to take one example, very simple example I am taking. It is very essential in order to understand support of a set. Many times I had told that here I am taking a practical example of support of a set. So suppose simplest set you take it a square, unit a square. This is the square whose extreme points are for 0, 0, 1 is 0, its origin. This point would be 1, 0. This corner point would be 1, 1. And this point in the x2 axis, it would be 0, 1. So this is a square. So it is very nice set. It is a convex set. If I'm asking to find uh, support of this function, this set, how can you find? So if someone is asking, find the support of a set. So your next question would be, in which direction I will find a support? Suppose I am asking to find support in the direction of 1, 0. That means in the direction A vector, I have taken it 1, 0. So find the support in the direction of 1, 0. So how can you find the support in the direction of 1, 0? So what you do, project every element of this set, a square set, along the direction of 1, 0. If you suppose your point is here, this point is in the set, and if you want to project projection of this one, it would here. So projection of this, let me take it more clear example. So this is the square. So take one point here. Okay. So what is the position vector of this one? It will come like this way. So if you want to project in the direction of 1, 0, so projection of this vector would be this. This is the projection. So in this projection, what is the length of projection? What is the maximum length of projection? That we will call it support of that of vector in that direction. So what is the maximum length of projection in this direction? So take any point. If you take this point here, so what would be projection of this? Projection of this point, draw position vector first and then put projection here. So projection of this vector is smaller. If you take a point here, projection of this vector in the direction of 1, 0, it would be just at origin itself. That means 0. Projection 0. Length is 0. If you take vector here in diagonal in this corner, then projection of this one also will come here. So this you are getting infinitely many points in this boundary where every points are having the same projection. This is the projection, it's having same projection. And what is the length of maximum projection? What is the maximum length of the projection? 1. So 1 would be support of this set. So call this set as support of this set as now in direction of A, in direction of 1, 0. If you change your direction, your support will change. Now another question is coming, and the support in the direction of this vector 1, 1 vector. If you are taking another vector B, that one is 1, 1. So what is the support in the direction of 1, 1? So what we, if you take this vector, if you want to project projection of this vector in direction of 1, 1, it would be of this length. If you take this corner point, projection of this one, it will come of length of projection would be this. If you take one vector here, and if you project in the direction of 1, 1, this would be projection length. And which point will give maximum projection? So this point will give maximum projection. This point. So what is the length of this? The length of this projection, we call it support in the direction of 1, 1. So how can you find support in the direction of 1, 1? How can we get projection, maximum projection? So take a point here itself 1, 1 and do in a product with 1, 1. So that would be 2. That would be 1 into 1, 2. So it will give. So what is the, in that process you are talking about this length. So what would be this length? Square root of 2. So support of f with this function in the direction of B, it would be root 2. Length is root 2. So but finding length of projection in a particular direction, length, maximum length of projection in a particular direction, that we are calling it projection, support of the vector. If someone is taking this direction, this, what is name of this direction? Name of this direction is 0, 1. So that direction we are calling it C. We are calling it C. So what is the projection? If you want to project, take a vector, project in this direction. Take a vector, and if you take a vector like this way, project in this direction. If you take a vector here, and this is the position vector. If you want to project in the direction of 1 0, this would be projected length. So what is the maximum projection projected length in the direction of 0 1? It would be 1. So support of the vector is this set as in the direction of C. It would be 1. Also support in the direction of 1. Suppose someone is taking this direction. This direction. What would be name of this direction? So you can take, you can call it 1 and 0.5. So direction of this point D, another direction we are taking it. So it is. Remember that direction. Whenever I am calling it direction vector, what you do, always take direction vector. So direction vector is always happens to be a unit vector. So no worry if you are there is a abuse of notation. You can take any vector itself, and by normalizing you can get direction of that. So what would be direction along this? It would be 1 and second coordinate would be 1/2. So this. So if you want to find length of maximum projection, so keep on projecting all point in this direction. Keep on projecting all in this direction. Which point will have maximum direction? So this point will have maximum direction. So it is coming up to this. This is the maximum direction. So find this length. So find what you do. Take dot product of so 1/2. Normalize it. Take normal direction. Normalize it and take dot product with 1 1. That will give your support. So 1 1 and take dot product with normalized part of this one. So what would be normalized part? So it would be 1 plus norm of this one would be 1 plus 1/4. That means square root of a square root of 5/4. You have to normalize it by 5/4 in order to get unit vector. And 2 multiplication of this one, normalize this one, and 2 multiplication of this one. That would give length of support, value of support in this direction, 1/2. So you might have already got the idea how to calculate support of a set in a particular direction. Remember that you have to find support of a set in a particular direction. But if you observe in a set, how many directions you observe? There are infinitely many directions. One direction is this one, another direction is this one, this another direction. One direction is also this one. So if you try to find projection in this direction, by default, what would be projection length? It would be 0, because here only 0 will have a projection. Other for other you have to go for negative kind of. You have to extend it like a negative kind of. So direction is happen always unidirectional. It is not like this one is having, suppose this vector is having 1 1 direction, then this will have, this vector is having 1 1 that direction, then this will have -1 -1. So -1 is different than 1 1. 1 1 is having positive direction, -1 is having 180 rotation of that direction. So it is different direction. So you need to know the meaning of direction. Direction is very much related with ray or cone kind of a structure, and it is not like a finer structure or linear structure. Okay, so that is the criteria. If you change the direction, if you change direction in this way, so what is the projection here? So if you take a point, so you will project it here, you will get some length. This is some length. So definitely you are getting support. So in this direction, the support set is having some support, and if you want to take this point, you want to project. So projection always happens perpendicular way. You know that orthogonal projection means we are talking about orthogonal projection. So like this way, if you take in this direction, also you can. So which one will have maximum projection? So this point will have maximum projection. You can visualize this. This point will have action projection. If you take this point, what is the projection of this one? Projection of this one will come here. And if you take this point, this point we won't consider. It is negative. It is talking about negative way. So likewise we can consider several direction of projection in several directions. So there are infinitely many directions you can, so that also you can get infinitely many support of a vector in different directions. Different direction you will get different support. So that's why we are here introducing support function. Support function we denote it like this way. Support function we can denote it, we define it support of s in direction of y, because here direction is variable, it is very keep on varying. So supremum of y transpose x such that x is coming from the space. So this one is a support function. It is already, I think, around 2:45, so I should wind up this class. In next class we discuss in detail. I told that tomorrow class I will be not available. uh, uh, what you do, it would be a tutorial class, you all have to be uh, uh, present there. I will schedule one assignment and one tutorial there, you have to solve and submit in the Google Classroom. If you anyone having any doubt, you can ask. Otherwise, regarding your attendance, go and mark your attendance there in Google Classroom. I have already created a link for attendance. You go and mark there. Anyone willing to ask any question, then you are welcome. I don't